What if pain isn't the problem, but actually the pathway back to you? You're listening to The Leadership Wound, From Pain to Permission. I'm Amanda Rohr, your host and founder of Authentically You, coaching for embodied spiritual living and leading. This is where we get honest about the real cost of leadership, the burnout, the pretending, the rejection, and the return to your authentic self. Because this isn't about performance, it's about permission. Welcome to the leader you've always been.
Here's the tragic irony. The very things you most need to lead well, which are rest, clarity, presence, and energy, are the first things you give away when you're trapped in external validation. Welcome back to The Leadership Wound. I'm your host, Amanda Rohr, and today we're closing out a 4-part series on the validation trap. If you've been walking with us in the journey, you've noticed the movements that we've gone through. In part 1, which was episode 23, we talked about awareness. We named the trap, how external approval quietly becomes our reference point. And in part 2, which was impact, we explored what it costs us when approval is our compass. Part 3, which was episode 25, we talked about detox. We began interrupting the patterns, recognizing the pull of external validation, losing its grip, and practicing new responses. And in today, part 4, we're going to talk about anchor. We're going to be rooting ourselves in identity so we can live free from the need to be constantly affirmed. This episode is about what is actually taking place when we talk about breaking free from external validation. Spoiler, it's not about performing harder, pleasing better, or finally finding the one magic affirmation that sticks. The real way forward is anchoring yourself, not in the opinions of others, but in the deep well of your authentic identity. Today is about how to move from external approval to the inner anchor, and why the identity is the key that unlocks freedom. Recognition feels good. A kind word from a board member, a team, great job, a positive comment online. These moments light up our brains. They release dopamine, they reinforce behavior, and they feel amazing. But external approval was never meant to be your anchor, because approval comes and goes. It's inherently unpredictable. Here's the ironic thing about external validation. Sometimes the silence or criticism really is about you. Someone may not like your choices, your leadership style, your message, and other times it has absolutely nothing to do with you. People are distracted, busy, or simply didn't see it. And our brains almost always interpret silence as rejection. We fill in the blanks with our stories. We make things mean something other than they're not. They must not like me. I must have said it all wrong. I must not be enough. As if the world revolves around us. And that's the problem with relying on external validation for our worth and for our identity. When it is about you, it still doesn't define you. And when it isn't about you, it was never yours to carry. But the dilemma or the trap is, it's hard to know which one it is. So the deeper question is, when the feedback fades, whether from criticism, indifference, or the simple quietness of people moving on with their lives, where do you stand? Here's the hope. Our brains aren't fixed. They're always rewiring. Neuroplasticity is what they call it. If your default thought is, I need people to notice me to know I matter, that doesn't have to stay your story anymore. Each time you catch that old thought, you can redirect it and return to your anchor. And when you do that, you're carving a new pathway in your brain. Over time, what felt like automatic chasing the recognition, looking externally for validation, it begins to weaken. And what felt unnatural, staying in the silence or standing steady in your identity, becomes natural and normal. Resilience research mirrors this. The leaders who thrive long-term aren't the ones with the most affirmation or applause. They're the ones with the deepest roots. Anchored leaders show clarity in chaos, steadiness under pressure, and confidence that doesn't depend on a shifting crowd because they're not looking externally. Externally are where the waves are. Externally is where the chaos is. Anchored leaders are looking within. Detoxing from external validation isn't just about better habits. It's about identity. When you're unclear on who you are, we all naturally look outward. We naturally look outward to answer that question. Am I enough? Am I doing this right? Do I matter? Am I on the right pathway? We notoriously scan the faces for praise, silence, criticism, or proof that what we're doing is right and good. And it shows up in everyday pain points. Checking your phone 10 times after posting to see who liked it. Or my favorite, replaying conversations, wondering, did I sound smart enough? Did it come across well? Will they still like me after I said that? Or maybe for you, it's adjusting your words mid-meeting based on the head nods or frowns. Or saying yes when you wanted to say no, just to keep the peace. Each moment reinforces a painful story. I can't trust who I am inside. I need someone else to tell me I'm okay. If you find yourself mistrusting yourself and even asking that question, am I okay? Am I okay? And looking outwardly for the answer, you're normal. You're human. Most of us do this to some level or another. But the flip side, when you are clear on your identity, when you've named your values and chosen your anchors, you stop searching outwardly for what you already carry inwardly. You move with an internal assurance that steadies you no matter what happens outside, no matter what tidal wave comes your way. And the shift is profound. Instead of checking your phone, you set it down because your value isn't measured in likes. Instead of replaying the conversation, you rest. You don't even go back to it because you know you spoke with integrity. Instead of being tossed by the expressions in the room or the lack thereof it, you stay present within yourself. Your anchor isn't in them, it's in you. And instead of saying yes from fear, you say no with peace because your worth doesn't rise and fall on someone else's opinion. That's what anchoring in identity feels like. It feels like freedom. It feels like clarity. It feels like peace and rest. I was talking with a coaching colleague about how public figures navigate this the other day, and we brought up the example of Taylor Swift. She lives under a magnifying glass. Every lyric, every relationship, every outfit is dissected and evaluated. And although she's a very, very public figure, she has to navigate the same tensions that we all face. Being grounded and rooted in who you are and staying engaged and empathetic with the world around you. For anyone constantly being observed, the stakes are amplified. You can build a wall that says, I don't care about what anyone thinks of me. Or you can melt into exhaustion trying to please everyone. Most leaders, whether on a large stage or a small room, drift towards one of these extremes. But the pain points are the same for all of us. You hear the critic in the room, or in your head, and you start to doubt yourself. You second-guess decisions to avoid disappointing people. Or you overwork, hoping recognition will outweigh criticism. Recently, Taylor said something that went viral. She said, you should think of your energy as if it's expensive, as if it's a luxury item. Not everyone can afford it. That's identity in action. It's the boundary that flows from being anchored. The message beneath it is, my energy is not up for negotiation. It's too precious to spend on every demand or every opinion that comes my way. Let's carry that forward practically for us as leaders. Sleep. Too many leaders lose sleep replaying conversations. Your sleep is sacred. Or what about your energy? A day can be derailed by one critical comment. Your energy is expensive. Don't spend it cheaply. Or what about your time and focus? An entire afternoon can disappear from mental spirals about who didn't respond or who wasn't impressed. Your time is too precious to trade for speculation. Here's the tragic irony. The very things you most need to lead well, which are rest, clarity, presence, and energy, are the first things you give away when you're trapped in external validation. But when you're anchored in identity, you can say, my energy is a luxury. I won't hand it out like it's free candy. Or, my sleep is not up for negotiation. No comment or opinion gets to own my night. And lastly, my time is too valuable to waste spinning stories about why someone didn't notice me. And this isn't celebrity glamour, it's everyday leadership wisdom. Whether you lead a company, a church, a classroom, a home, or even yourself, your energy, your rest, and your mental clarity are far too valuable to hand it over to someone else's approval. Identity lets you declare, my energy is expensive, my rest is sacred, and my peace of mind, it's not for sale. Here's the paradox, though. The strongest leaders are the least swayed by opinions. Not because they're arrogant, but because they're anchored. Sometimes we get this backwards, and we think that to be a strong leader means we need to dissect everyone's opinion and figure out how to change it. But grounded leaders welcome feedback without being undone by it. They receive affirmation without becoming addicted to it. They stand in silence without questioning their value. And they know which voices to listen to and which voices not to. That's what makes them trustworthy, steady, and sustainable. They know their worth. They know their identity. A simple daily practice to build your inner anchor is to name your values and to picture an anchor. The first one, name your values. Choose 3 that matter the most to you. For example, you could choose integrity, compassion, and courage. And then I want you to picture those as actual anchors going down to the bottom of the ocean. See those values as heavy, steady anchors holding you in place as the water or turbulence above goes back and forth, swells, and becomes at peace. As you're doing this, you're noticing the pull. When you feel yourself reaching for approval, desiring external, outside of yourself, recognition or affirmation, or looking for the nods, you can pause and say to yourself, that's not my anchor. And you can actually draw your eyes down to the bottom of the ocean to where those anchors are and return to the truth. You can speak your values aloud. I lead with integrity. I choose compassion. I stand in courage. And you can let the moment, you can let the emotion pass you by as you stay steady and strong with your anchor. Breathe. Let your body feel the steadiness of being rooted in something deeper than external approval. Let me just replay those again. You can name your value. Then you can picture the anchor. Then you can notice the pull and return to your truth. all while breathing and letting your body feel the steadiness of being rooted in something deeper than what is going on outside of you. I encourage you to practice this week and notice yourself feeling the shift, feeling the pull. And over time, that pull will loosen itself. The grip of external validation will weaken as your anchor holds you steady. You don't have to live in the validation trap. There is another alternative way to live. You don't have to exhaust yourself trying to earn approval or twisting yourself into someone else's mold. You were made to lead like you. You were made to lead from an anchor of identity with clarity, confidence, and freedom. This is what it means to live authentically and to lead authentically. But most leaders can't sustain this shift alone. That's why I do this work, not for the pep talks, but for the walk with you transformation. And if today stirred something in you, if you're ready to detox from validation and root yourself in identity, take the next step. It's human to ask for help. It's human to ask a friend or a spiritual director or a coach, would you walk alongside of me? When you invite others into your transformation, your likelihood of breakthrough increases because you allow someone else to compassionately hold you accountable to the desires of where you want to go. If this is you and you find yourself saying, I am ready for the detox, I am ready to stop being exhausted by the external validation, I am ready to stop feeling exhausted and to begin to live in freedom, I want to encourage you to book a free 30-minute call with me on my website, authenticleadershipcollective.com. We'll map out where you are and where you're getting pulled and design a customized path to help you anchor yourself in your true identity. If this episode resonated with you, pass it along to someone else you love or care about. Chances are they've experienced the hidden cost of external validation as well. No leader should have to keep on living in a validation trap. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Leadership Wound and being with us in the Validation Trap series. I'm so glad you're here. I'm excited to continue this journey with you. If you're ready to stop performing and start leading authentically, hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And pass this series on to someone else who also might need a detox just like you. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and at my website, authenticleadershipcollective.com. Be sure to sign up for my weekly Leadership Insight for more inspiration and free resources. Until next time, lead like you.